Hi, I'm Jerry Hilton. Now my channel is all about photographing and filming wildlife. What have I got in store for you today? Well, let's have a look. Well, good morning. Just getting myself ready, go out into the scrub. Now, I'd like to invite you to come with me today and talk camera stuff and just see what I do on weekends. Typical Saturday for me, what I get up to. So enough talking about it, let's get going. Now where I'm taking you today is about a 4-minute walk from my place, or less than 4 minutes. It's down into a little forest. I do most of my filming in these days because it's so close to home and there's a lot going on in here. It's just fantastic for me just to come out here whenever I like. Anyway, I'm going to walk up into the forest now. I'm going to move in about 100 metres or so, and that's where I sort of stop and check my camera gear out and just get relaxed and into the groove. Well, this is about where I just stop and try and clear the mind, get rid of all the rubbish that's going on in your head, and just try and listen to the forest over the top of chainsaws, dogs barking, and cars. Because it's only a small reserve, it's surrounded by houses and farms, so there's always something going on that distracts you a little bit, but yeah, just try and calm my mind down and get into the zone. Just listen to the birds, and after probably an hour of walking around, my mind will slowly kick into natural instincts, hunting mode, and all the worries of the world disappear, and that's all I'm thinking about is just finding wildlife to photograph and film. And there's a few things I got to do this morning, and that's check some trip cameras that I've put out and just listen to the forest as I'm walking through and check things out visually and see if I can see any new things going on. Let's get going. There's only 2 spots in the reserve that I can get shafts of sunlight come through in the mornings. And this is one of them. I call this the sculpture. That's the head off a bottle tree that's come down and just gone into the ground like a hand. And every now and then you get birds will come and perch on there. So this is where I don't have to use a flash. I can just let the 7D Mark II rip away. So I'm looking forward to this year to be able to use the 7D to get birds in flight, or as they just jump off the branches with their wings out. Hopefully I can get some awesome photos this year. And there's another one further back up the reserve, and that'll stay open for about 3 hours as well as here. And that's got spotted pardalapes nesting, and I saw them the other day. They're hanging around, so it'd be fantastic. Get their feathers, their wings out. Just beyond the other side there is where I've got my trail cam, so let's go and have a look. Well, here we are, trail cam. Get myself sorted out here. Hey. This is always the exciting part. What have we got? I'm not sure whether I've got a lot, because that there is a little tea strainer that's full of oats with honey on them. That draws the animals in. It hasn't been moved, so I don't know whether I've actually got anything. No, get trail cam turned off. Right. Let's have a look at what we got. 22, that's not a lot. So there's not a lot of activity here. It's a bit disappointing. I thought there would have been. Anyway, we'll have a look at the photos. And Okay, that's what I'm after. A little antechinus, the carnivorous marsupial. And that's my prime goal these days, is to photograph, film them and study them to build a documentary. And I've pretty well got what I'm after so far, but I need more. I need some more bits and pieces, especially the females. I haven't got much of them, so that's good. But because that's such a tiny little screen, it's hard to see it out in the field, even with my glasses on, wherever they are. It's always hard, a tiny little screen. Nice sanding bird, I'll check that out in a minute. But yeah, it's always better to take them back, put them on the computer, have a really good look at what's going on there. But that's a little disappointing here. There's not a lot of activity, because what that helps me do is it helps me decide whether I need to spend a lot of time here or not, whether it's worthwhile. If I don't get a lot of activity, there's only one coming every 3 or 4 hours, that means it's at the end of its range, not in the middle of its raining area. It's where it lives, so the closer I get, the more activity it'll be. So I'll have to shift this over a little bit further. Yeah, just put it over another spot and see whether I get more activity. And that just saves me hours and hours of waiting, standing around, getting nothing. So a great tool if you can get your hands on one. I borrowed 2 from my local shire. It's very good of them to do that for me, to help with my research. Yeah, it's just been fantastic being able to have these. Buy one of my own eventually, but just at the minute, just haven't got the dollars. So thank you very much to the shire for them. Alright, there's some brown scrub wrens I saw a couple of days ago establishing a territory. So I'm pretty sure we're getting close to them building a nest. So we'll go and have a look. The brown scrub wren is definitely building a nest. Just saw it fly into that little bit of bush there with some material in its mouth. So I've put a stick across the front there from the other bit of grass and stuff, so that it'll fly onto that and fly in to the nest, hopefully, so I can get some footage and some photographs of it. So I'm going to set myself up, get ready for them to come back again. The thing to keep in mind is when we're filming and photographing that we don't interfere. That's as far as you should really go, is just set up a branch so that they jump onto it, hopefully, and we're not disturbing them, we're just introducing another branch. That's really, now if I went and pulled the scissors out and started cutting the grass at the front there so I could get, so the camera could see into the nest and see them building it, they're going to get really pissed off and probably abandon that site, because it wasn't what they wanted. What they wanted, privacy and be able to be hidden. If I go playing with it, that's gone, isn't it? So they'll just nick off and go nest somewhere else. And later on, if I'm selfish and cut some grass and stuff away, later on when the babies have hatched, well, I could upset the nest. It might loosen it and babies might fall out and just be a big disaster. So it's, with me, it's a stiff shit policy. If it's not nicely set up at a nice height where you can film and it's all clear, well, it's just stiff shit. Like this, probably won't have a lot of light and stuff come into there, so it's not going to be the best environment for me to film in. So it's just stiff shit. I'm not going to muck around and ruin a nest. So anyway, I'll get set up, take some photos. Hopefully we can get some good ones and some nice footage. Ooh, beautiful. Got to be quick with those guys. They just come out of the scrub, jump onto the branch and straight in. But the 7D Mark II is giving me the best opportunity. So it's me that's got to be fast. Very responsive focusing system. So I've been having a lot of fun taking the photographs of them. and we'll splash them up there as I'm talking. 5D Mark II, terrible autofocus. For me, getting photographs of small birds has been really hard going. But here, when birds are nesting, is the best time to get photographs of the small birds, because when they're hacking around the scrub here, you're not always going to get a clear shot. But they're coming back to the same spot, building the nest. As long as you've got nice clear vision onto the nest, it's in an open spot, or putting a branch up like that, we've got a bit more control about getting photographs. So, alright, had a bit of fun here. Might leave these two alone to build their nest. Well, this is the other open part, and I get spotted pardal-apes come and nest here. There's a wombat hole just in front of me here, about 3 metres away. They usually nest in there, and they've been coming here for about 4 years, that I know of anyway. And I've been here for a few minutes, so about 20 minutes or something, and I'm not seeing them. They were here the other day. Ah, and there they are. That looks like female. Looks like the female's up there. And they're just starting to clean out the old nest. So I might get myself set up and start filming them and photographing them, because I haven't got any footage with the photographs with the 7D Mark II yet. I'd really like to try it out, see how I can get them with their wings open as they're flying in. So I'll do that now. Well, I've been having a lot of fun. I've got photographs of the male and the female, so it's great when a plan comes together. I've put a branch into the ground just above the wombat burrow there where they're nesting. So hopefully, you know, they land on that and not go straight in like they used to do last year. And it's coming back down again. So I've blazed away. I've got the male and the female. Been fantastic having full sunlight. This is the second place in the reserve where I get full sunlight. So I don't have to worry about the flash. Just go to high speed, continuous shooting, and using 1 point focus for them, because they're so small, and it's stopped the hunting a lot of the focusing system. Usually using 9 point clusters of focus points. An expansion was, the background was distracting it, and it was trying to hunt for the background rather than the foreground. So they've solved that problem now with that 1 point, so that's great. I've got some fantastic photographs. I'm going to sit here a little bit longer, take some more, and then I'll leave them alone. But they don't seem to be too fussed about me being here. Of course, we've got the cropping power of the 7D Mark II, which has allowed me to be 2 metres further back than I normally would with the 5D Mark II. So that's fantastic. Great results. So anyway, I'll stay here for a little bit longer, and then we'll go for a walk and look at some other spots. Well, I've come to the back of the reserve, out into the open paddocks. There's the creek that runs through the reserve. When it comes out to these farmlands, has a bit of an easement on either side of the creek, so I can legally walk through here without getting shot. Hopefully not. But this is a great spot just here. The birds in flight, like that one over there. A couple of days ago, there was just here, there was 3 pair of kookaburras disputing over territory. So the tree that they were all in, carrying on at each other verbally, it was pretty well much the corner of each of their boundaries. So I just stood up there and waited for them to fly out of the tree, and I got some awesome photos, and here they are. And that's what I'm after with most of the big birds. I love it when they turn to come back at you. So you see the wings all spread out nicely. Love those sort of photos. Just the opportunity to do that's not always there, because either there no birds here, or it's too cloudy. But anyway, that's a look at working out here. Of course, you have to set your camera up differently for out in the open. More cluster focus points for birds in flight. I've found that I have to go for the active cluster. Can't remember how many is in there, but you have a cluster of 5 and then a cluster of 9. They're the expansion of this of your center focus point. Then you go into more active clusters. So I use that next one, and that works really well. It takes up most of the center focus points, and you can track the animal fairly well, so even if it goes slightly out of the center, one of them will grab its tail or a wing or whatever, so it'll give you a good result. And we'll keep walking and we'll go and have a look at something else. And if I see a bird jump out in flight out of the trees here, I'll take a photo. But we'll go and have a look further over. There's a little pond, a little creek runs into the main creek, but it creates this little pond first before it goes in. So occasionally you can get some ducks and stuff in there. So we'll have a look. Well, this is the little pond. As you can see, there's no ducks here. There's nothing here except for the frogs. They're having a bit of fun. And the odd kookaburra flying past. But it's 12 o'clock midday, so not a lot happens. It's a bit of an exchange period. Birds are off hiding, looking for food and stuff, so you don't always get the opportunity to take photos during that sort of time. So I'll come back about 2 o'clock. There'll be a bit more activity hopefully. And maybe I might find some more birds nesting somewhere. If I'm lucky. Well, I've had a fair bit of luck this morning, so maybe that might continue. I'll have a look at the photographs I've taken today as well, as well as trail cam. Have a good look and see those photos and give me any good information about what anything else that's there. Like I said, it's a bit hard to see on that little screen, even with my glasses on. So I'm going to go home, have some lunch and come back later on. Well, I've come out for a second session in the afternoon. It's about 3:30. And I'm just checking up on the wombat burrow that's baby and the mother have got mange. It's a little mange mite that gives them a skin complaint. If you don't do anything about it, it can eventually kill them. So I've got a self-medicator on there, just put a little bit of their mite killer in the cap, a little flap there. So when it comes out, it goes onto its back, and when it goes back in, it'll tip it on it again. That's looking alright, so I won't have to worry about that. I've got every Sunday night I come and fill it up as part of its treatment for the next month. It's got kookaburra just here in front of me, in that branch there. We're having a bit of a standoff. He won't fly for me. I want to get him in flight. I'm up nice and close. Doesn't care that I'm here. Well, that's the end of the day stuff. I've just set trail cam up in another spot. Just doing a selfie now. Go and set up for a bit of night filming. See what happens there. So, catch you a bit later on when I get there. Right, all set up. Out for a bit of a night session. There's a little carnivorous marsupial I like to film. I like to learn about it, its behaviour and everything. I've come to a new spot. I've got this trail cam. Had a look at the photos yesterday and there's lots of activity here. I did come out here last night and I got nothing. So hopefully today or tonight I'll get something. Now it's not that I've got a lot of patience. Don't have a lot of that. It's more that I'm persistent. I just keep coming back to the same spots. Hopefully I can get what I'm after. Which is pretty well much like my subject. They do exactly the same. A little agile, very persistent. Now that it's coming into breeding season for birds, birds are nesting. Once the chicks hatch, that little antechinus will have them if it can find them. If the parents chase it away, well, they're persistent. They'll just keep coming back until they get what they're after. Alright, that's for me carrying on. I'm going to sit back and just hang around and wait. Hopefully I get some good footage tonight. Catch you later. Well, well, well. A hole in the ground full of water. Now I've had some good footage tonight of a little agile antechinus and a bogle. It's a native rat that lives in Victoria. Now I'm absolutely freezing, so I might stammer a bit with my speaking because it is really cold. Now the reason why I'm out trying to get footage of the Agile at night is because I've got plenty of footage of males interacting with each other as well as with other animals, but the females I just haven't been able to get any footage of them or find them. That's why I've got the cameras out everywhere. I'm moving them from one area to another, trying to establish where they are, because so August is supposed to be their breeding season. I'm not seeing any movement just yet. I'm in the middle of August. So what I'm trying to achieve by finding the females is not just to learn about their behaviour as well, but filming them carrying babies. Now, when the babies are born, they're like a kangaroo has a baby. It's like a little bean. It doesn't really have limbs or anything, or any hair. So they hang on to the teat. I think they have about 6 to 8 nipples. So it just depends on whether they have 6 or 8, how many babies they have. So they'll carry them around, and once they get to a certain age, get quite big, and I should be able to see them hanging off the sides and climbing over her when she stops. So that would be the absolute pinnacle for me of filming the Antechinus, the Agile anyway. My main goal for the rest of the year and next season is to get that footage. Yeah, it's cold. I'll just tell you about the light before I freeze to death. The light I'm using is the mk2 the mk360. It's 360 LEDs, has a lux reading of 2400, which is really meant as a fill light, not a key light, because when you're talking about lux readings, that's the power output that it gives, the strength of the light. For a key light, for studio work or whatever, green screen work, you really need a lux reading of 5,000 to 6,000 is a much better light to use as a key light. So that works really well with this camera. It's a Canon XF300 camcorder. So as long as I'm up close, around 2 meters from my subject, no more than that. I had a reading from the camera that it was 2.1 meters away. So what the images I got before look beautiful. They're lit up properly. You can't see noise and rubbish in the background. But I also used that light during the day to help my DSLR, the 7D Mark II, to focus, because in a dimly lit environment, when I'm fixed like this on a subject, I've got baits out onto a log, it gets a bit difficult for any focusing system to focus, so putting the light on helps it get good accurate focus. So there's a couple of tips for you. It's only the light, and I hope you've enjoyed a day with me, and I've got a couple of other projects that I'm going to start maybe tomorrow or next week, I'm not sure. But anyway, enough of me rabbiting on. I'll catch you around the place, and yeah, see ya.
If you'd like to subscribe to Derek's channel, you'll get notification whenever he does anything else. I just love this food. So click on the subscription button just down below there, and also in the left hand corner underneath the viewer screen is a little icon that'll take you to Derek's channel, and you can have a look at all the things he's been doing over the years, like practicing making wildlife documentaries and the odd review.